Bottom and iron Winterset, Iowa. Winterset, Iowa. We had to pull over. I had rigor mortis setting in. We've been driving for a while, and I was getting a little stiff. Anyways, this is the town of John Wayne, and we're gonna go find some cast iron. All right, we just got done shopping in the iron shed. You're gonna come in there for a little tour, and then meet Doug, the owner here. Very passionate about the cast iron. He loves his history and does a great job restoring these, and is very knowledgeable. So we got the number 3, because I don't have a number 3, and from St. Louis, Missouri, the Ozark. Be a good cookie pan on top of the wood stove this winter. Then we got a number 5 for if I want a bigger cookie. Anyways, hammered cast iron, and this one was the BSR from Birmingham, Alabama. And then this is just for the grill, but it was off a cast iron pan, seasoned up. It's a number 8. So a really cool spatula.
Pretty sweet.
Made out of cast iron.
And then we're gonna come back in a minute and pick up the cornbread maker.
Yeah, we got the cornbread maker. So stay tuned and check out the tour in the shop here. This guy's super busy, and it's just a great little place to visit.
And here. What town we're in? Winterset,
Iowa. Birthplace of John Wayne. Covered bridges, Madison of Madison County. So yeah, cool little town, and then a great find. The vintage shed in Winterset, Iowa, and it's quite the collection in here. The guy's really knowledgeable, and it's a cool little store. I mean, I use favorites. They got tons of Christmas.
So what are you doing with these?
I want something for chocolate chip cookies and something at the school that we don't have.
The crack skillets.
So Autumn wanted the cornbread pan, and he's going to touch it up here a little bit. So then what is the liquid here then?
This liquid is just water and sodium carbonate, a super washing soda.
So water and sodium carbonate, is that like a 50-50 mix, or?
No, you use half a cup of the sodium carbonate per gallon of water, or 5 gallon of water. I'd have to look it up off the top of my head, but I believe half cup to 5 gallon, and then it's a pretty precise mixture. If you get too much of that in there, you'll burn up your charger. If you don't get enough of it in there, you don't get enough activity from it. So with this already hooked up, positive goes to the tank. My stainless tank is the anode for this. That is the whole thing. So eventually this will get holes work through it, but it takes years. And then the negative to the pan, so black to black on the black iron, and you can kind of see the action already coming off of there and the bubbles coming through there. I like to clean the top of mine off.
Okay.
With this here, just a little strainer.
And most on the top is that was
That's
like
just little rust pieces that came off of
yep.
some of the last ones, and then I just run them. So this has 2 tanks running on one charger, and there you can see some of the action going on down in there. So when they come out, they're pretty well cleaned off there. But this will finish them up. is an old BSR Red Mountain number 10.
And BSR was out of
BSR
Alabama.
is, Birmingham Stoven Range out of Birmingham, Alabama. This piece here is from about the 30s, 20s or 30s. Pretty good shape. I go through, give it a good scrub with the.
Is there a particular steel wool grade that you like?
I always used to use the Scotch Brite
Yeah.
stainless pads. I found these online, which are a little larger.
Is there a particular number on the grit as far as it you kind of like, or?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
These are just a little larger piece, and I decided to start buying them in bulk because they just kind of fall apart as you're going along with them. So once you get it pretty well clean like that, is when I move to the magic eraser. Where you think that's a pretty clean pan, not really. But once this goes around, a lot of people will say to use cold water at this step.
Yeah.
I prefer hot water. Some have trouble with the flash rust. Of course, I'm doing this in an air-conditioned building inside. If you're doing this outside in a where it's real humid, you could have trouble with flash rust, but I prefer just do it inside the AC. I use hot water, and then I don't, so the pan is somewhat warm as I'm cleaning it. See that some of that black that's still coming off of there. I will keep still getting some black, so
90-year-old pan, almost like brand new.
make sure to get those edges and down in the corner. And this is going to be a nice one. A lot of the old BSRs like this are just smooth as glass. BSRs are fairly heavy. Some prefer the heavier with their cooking. Some prefer lighter. It's just a personal preference. Depends on what you're doing. The heavier ones will hold the heat a little better. But that one is, I'm going to give it one last shot. New eraser. That's the foam that I like to get right at the end on my last wash. Yeah, it comes out clean as a whistle. This, like I said, this water is hot. If you can see it steaming there or not a little bit, but I just grab an old t-shirt, start drying it immediately, and that hot pan, using that hot water, you can see that thing just pretty well. The inside you can see is already drying itself from the hot pan. So as soon as that's dry, straight onto the stove top, turn it on about medium.
How long do you let that sit then?
And we'll let that set till that hits about 250. I use a little infrared thermometer, 20 bucks, and that will tell us when we get up to that. I could put it in the oven, turn the oven on, but since I just have the one piece, I'll just do it on a stove top. But a lot of days I'll have all these full and doing them as I go through. So yeah, once that hits 250, then I'll have this Buzzy wax, which is a little low. Get that warmed up into a liquid form, and then I put that on, wipe it off, and into the oven.
Then how long do you do in the oven?
It goes 1 hour at 500. I shut the oven off, let it cool down to about 253. Pull it out, another coat, do it again. Usually 2 to 3 coats, and these things are ready to go.
Yeah.
You're ready to cook. So, just something I've enjoyed doing for many years, and
What got you into it?
took a hobby and turned it into a business.
So this is a hard addiction.
Yeah, it's and it's I started doing this going to antique malls with a friend of mine as we went to bowling tournaments. His wife collected Fenton, so I just started collecting cast
And it's
iron.
preserving an old American way of life.
I'm a history buff. I
Yep.
love history. I love bringing something like these back to life, where people can see something from
And you don't know
rusty, and who knows where that's from.
how many
That-
300 people hit out of there, whatever it was.
That was one I
Yep.
picked up at a local auction here for 20-30 bucks and stripped
Yep.
down and redo. It's about a 60
And this is called the Vintage Iron Shed.
vintage iron shed, Winterset, Iowa. My name is Doug Jurgens. Been collecting now, close to 30 years, I would say.
Couldn't ask for a better location. The history part of the town
Part
is.
of this town with John Wayne birthplace, the bridges of Madison County, the Clint Eastwood Meryl Streep movie was filmed here. The Red Delicious Apple was invented here. There's just a lot of history in this little town, and my hometown, I just decided instead of an antique booth to take it to a different level, and
Yeah.
and at this point I'm swamped. I'm sitting on about a 3-week restoration.
And I imagine your
turnaround.
emails and Facebooks are blown right up.
And online, I've actually, right now, I'm not doing very much shipping at all.
Yeah.
I will if someone calls and requests a certain item or something. I will if they're patient. I'm not a drop everything to go ship it. It takes me a few days to get them packed up and ready.
Yeah.
I used to ship a lot of this. I've done it. It takes as long for me to pack and ship as it does to restore.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't mind doing it. It's just, you got to be patient, bear with me, and I will get your item shipped out to you.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thanks for coming by today.
Yes, we're happy to.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for watching the Vintage Cast Iron. Check that place out, Winterset, Iowa. The picture of the card in the business is in that video, so you just hit pause if you want to write email or send a message on Facebook if you're interested in any cast iron. Doug there is super knowledgeable, super friendly. Like I said, we found a cornbread pan and it needed to be touched up a little bit. He did that while we went to lunch, and it was finished when we came back. So very knowledgeable, and he has a lot of history of the area. Really cool town. John Wayne was born there, and there's 6 covered bridges in the area, and Clint Eastwood filmed the bridges of Madison County there. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching. Click subscribe, hit like, share with your friends.